This is it. We're recording. This is episode 339 of No Laugh Track Podcast. I'm Justin Severson, the host. We're at Acme because this is their podcast, and this is the big week that's happened. I think this is the 8th year, if I have that correct. It is Crash and Burn Week. We're doing 2 podcasts this week. This is the first one with the man behind it all, the brains, Tim Slagle, and a first-time guest, Sara Schaefer. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You are correct. It is number 8.
It is the 8th. Okay.
Number 8.
I went back to some notes from last year and I wrote year 7 with a question mark after it. So, was I sure last year? I don't know. All right. So, year 8. Congrats.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Congrats.
It's a great show. I'm glad. The first couple years, I could see where the club would not have faith in it. But it's actually they stuck with it. Acme stuck with it. They saw Lewis saw the potential, and so he let me keep doing it. And now it's 8, and now it's dare I say this week it's a smash. It is, yeah. We've been pulling in some great numbers. The people, the audiences the insiders are aware of what's going on. It's normally this time of summer people don't, especially in Minnesota, people don't want to go inside.
Yeah. Yeah, the weather's been, it's taken a turn. The sun is out these days.
People are wearing summer clothes.
Yeah, so. I looked back, and last year the shows were in April.
Yes.
With snow.
Yes.
Yes. So things have changed.
It's there was 1 year or two. It was April. It was always April. 1 year in April, it was so nice. We were actually doing the writing sessions outside in the park.
Jeez.
And other Aprils, yes, there was like 2 feet of snow. So you never know here. This is the latest one in the season.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the comics, to accommodate their schedule, this is the only week that all the comics could align.
Okay.
So I had picked the comics first, and then said, what dates do you have? And this was the one. So
Sara, how long have you known that you were going to be doing this?
A few months now.
A few months,
right? Like maybe 6 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
Probably?
I think I started in October. I think to make sure that everyone's solid. So I want to get them before their schedule fills in.
Sure. So what's the history with you two? Where did you meet?
Go way back 6 months.
6 months.
Way back to 6 months ago.
Well, Carmen Lynch, who did it last year, recommended me to Tim, which was really special that she thought of me. And,
awesome.
Went online and I took a look at some of her stuff and said yes, absolutely. And it was kind of funny. Then I went back to Carmen. I said, "Can you put me in touch with Sara Schaefer?" And she goes, "This is Crash and Burn, isn't it?" I go, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "Okay, because I'm not going to, if it's anything else."
What does that mean?
If it's anything else, no.
She would not forgive me if I sent a stalker her way, is the way I interpreted it.
It is in this business. Sometimes people go, "Can you give me so-and-so's email address?" And it's someone like kind of, not that I'm that person, but like, if it's someone that you're like, well, I don't know if I should give out their email. I'll email them first. There is some
Oh yeah, no
trepidation, but that's funny that she said it like
this jerk won't leave me alone, right? You don't want that
but
to
now
happen.
that you mention it, she couldn't approach you first and say, Tim does this Crash and Burn thing if it wasn't Crash and Burn. Now that I think about it, because then she would get your hopes up, and then it would be no, he wants a date.
You know what's worse than asking out on a date is he just wants to pick your brain.
Ooh.
And people say, can we get coffee the next couple? I just want to pick your brain.
I think that usually means there's something more to it, though, right?
No, it usually is someone asking for career help or advice. But what I found with the pick your brain meetings is usually the person just talks about themselves for an hour, just to sort of be like, here's what I'm doing.
Sure.
And here's everything I'm learning, and they just want you to like believe in them. And now I'm very selective on my pick your brain sessions.
It's hiring a listener.
Yeah, it is.
Listener / cheerleader.
Bored everyone I know silly with.
Well, and as I get older, my advice is like it's much more unpleasant. It's just like, you know what? This business is crazy. good luck.
Yeah.
You know, like that's my, or like, I don't know anything. You think I'm struggling? You think you're struggling? Well, I'm struggling too. You know,
there you go.
Yeah, like I come off bitter, and so I'm like, maybe I should avoid the pick your brain meetings for a little while.
You find some meet, I can pick their brain, and you can pick my brain.
And it's just it's just a term that makes me uncomfortable because I automatically feel like you're like scraping inside my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah,
Get out of there.
Yeah.
Like a dentist tool.
It feels very violating.
Sure. Tim, I want to know, compare like the how did you get the word out those first couple years compared to, you know, like I noticed that I remember last year you did it too, where at the beginning of the show you're like, all right, how many people showed up here, and you know what's going on. Those first couple years, how many people, I mean, how did they accept it those first couple of years?
It was I think right from the start, it's Acme's got the insider list, and I think people knew from the start there was enough people in the audience that were aware of what we were going to do that it went well. You've got to have an understand on Tuesday. You've got to have an understanding crowd. It's we had Wednesday was more understanding than Tuesday.
Okay.
It's actually, I think for some reason a lot of people waited till Wednesday to come in.
Okay.
And, we actually had some opposition on Tuesday. It's
what was the opposition?
Just some wise guy in the audience.
Oh, you're talking about this week? Not the,
this week.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
week.
there was a guy.
There was a guy not cooperating?
Do people know what they're coming in to see tonight? It better be comedy.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he was talking. He would answer and talk throughout the show, but it wasn't quite loud enough for me to. I ignored it because I was like, I don't want to get into it with this guy. But.
He sounded Canadian too. that would explain it.
What are these import hecklers? What is that?
Yeah, we're outsourcing hecklers.
It's crazy.
So he was really out. He was either like outstate Minnesota or Canadian.
Okay, yeah. There's some similarities certainly.
Yeah.
What did you expect that first night, Sarah?
Tim and I had been emailing about it. I was like, what's technically the rules? You know, I was figuring out what I was going to try. And for me, my process as a comedian is usually when I have an idea for a new joke, I don't write it down at all. I almost purposely don't think about it too much, and then just go on stage and talk. And see what happens. Like I like to just the first time where I just say it, because I tell longer stories and things. So you know, it's not like I'm going up and being like, I'm just going to come up with a one-liner. You know, that's a different skill that I think might require more writing. But I'm like, I want to talk about this topic or this thing that happened to me. I'll go up for the first time and just do it. But usually that's couched in a show where I'm doing other honed material surrounding it, or it's a very low stakes show. You know, I just did a show in LA because I also just started over with all my material, so this could not have come at a better time.
I was going to ask you that. I figured.
So I if it's a really low key show, you know, maybe I'll just fuck around the whole set or whatever. But so for this, it was not that different from what I normally do, but being this is this club that I've always heard is so great and legendary, and then there's a real paying audience, that would made it much more nerve-wracking of like, what if this is a freaking mess? How long is it? Do I have enough? Right. I literally went up on stage with like 4 words written on a piece of paper, so I was like, here we go. But
there's other comedians that would be so scared to do that.
No,
right, Tim?
Well,
yeah.
I think part of that is I did improv for like 6 years in New York, as also trying to do stand-up. I went to New York and I just tried everything. I did sketch. I did everything, and I think the improv training really made me unafraid of just going out there and doing
Winging
whatever.
it, kinda. Yeah, okay.
Now, I definitely don't recommend that as like a constant practice.
Right.
Because
that's the advice you give young. Just 4 words is all you need. Hop on stage.
Just improvise it. I don't recommend that, but because a lot of the times the stuff I do talk about, when I'm saying it the first time on stage, I've already said it to my friends and family. Like, it's usually a story that I've been telling or something that's been happening in my life where I'm like, oh my God, I'm listening to this podcast. And the Sleepcast is one of the jokes I'm working on now.
Yeah.
And, and I tell people how funny it is. And then it doesn't even occur to me usually until like a year later, like, oh, this could be a stand-up joke. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, I don't,
Wow.
Because a lot of times this stuff, it's not funny to me at first. I'm just giving, an update on my life to someone, or it's a story I'm embarrassed by, So
those could be the best ones.
It incubates for a long time. And then one day I'll be at a show and I go, oh yeah, let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's sort of. So I wasn't necessarily terrified. I was more scared last night, the second night.
Why is that?
The first night was so good.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, the second night I'm going to go out there and try to recreate that, and then that's when it all falls apart. That's also part of my normal part of my process.
Okay.
Is I go out and the first time I say it, it's hilarious, and then after that it just goes to shit. Because I'm trying to There's this period of me. Working on it and tweaking it, and then it goes back to being very natural sounding, like it's the first time I said it. It's a weird dip, Yeah,
and there is. We have been noticing this since I think year 5 was the first year that it was really significant, where Tuesday night was so good that there was always a Wednesday night lull. The Wednesday night lull on year 5 was severe.
Yeah,
it's we
carnage.
Well, we left Tuesday night thinking we were geniuses, and we left Wednesday wondering what the heck we got into. And Kevin Bozeman was so upset. He got up at 7:00 the next morning and went over to Starbucks to start working on Thursday morning, and because of that, he was the first one in the group to know that Prince had died.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Little tie-in.
Sure.
Prince had died, and Amy Schumer had an excuse for not selling out. It was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
It's these little things that I remember the years by.
I know what year that was. How do you know that? So did you have these fears that it was going to be, this might be bad one night and great the other, bad every night?
I don't know. I think I've just had enough experience with doing very strange venues or new challenging types of shows. I did Edinburgh one year, which was very intense. Every night was a crapshoot.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Audiences were tough there. It was performing every night for an hour for a month, which I didn't realize how hard that was going to be until I did it, and it was like, whoa.
Those shows have themes, don't they?
Yeah.
What was your theme?
My theme was very loose. I mean, it was like Trump. Not Trump, because I didn't have really any Trump jokes. It was like, what does it mean to be an American right now? From my point of view, there was a lot of religious stuff in there, and I don't even know. It was kind of a mess, to be honest with you.
That's what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
Read between the lines.
No, I had a better spiel for it 2 years ago when I was thinking about it, but
Sure.
it's been a long time. But yeah, it was Edinburgh was just a boot camp. For performance, and then I've done a lot of colleges, and so I am used to, from one night to the next, it being a completely different experience. And Edinburgh, and then the following year I did London for 2 weeks, was a real test in performing to people who aren't laughing, but that are still engaged and liking it, because I don't know what it was about the UK audiences, but they were just more reserved.
I've got a lot of experience performing to audiences that aren't laughing.
And that was what was so
Top
hard
10
about
reasons.
it, is that I couldn't tell what was working. It was much harder. I could, but it took about a week of me getting used to that audience.
It's the United Kingdom attitude. That's killing.
And I heard people would be like, "Oh, it was the best show I've ever seen," and I'm like, "You didn't make any squiggly noise.
Oh, wow.
So I really had to like get very focused on the micro like signs, like people smiling and the energy in the room, the way they clapped, and the laughing, like, oh, it's a little bit of a laugh. There we go, So doing this, all that prepared me for something like this, where I'm just like less rattled by a long stretch where something's not working. I just go, you know what, just get through it. It's one show.
So we've done, you guys have done 2 shows so far.
Right.
Were there changes already from the first and second, and now from the second and then tonight's show?
Oh, yeah.
How big are some of the changes for both of you?
For me, major.
Really?
Yeah, I had nothing funny on Tuesday night.
Yes, you did.
It was Tuesday was really hard for me, and then we got together Wednesday morning, and I said, "Come on, guys, please give me some funny." And they actually we took apart a couple things and stuck in some stuff, and it last night went great. So
yeah, you were great last night.
Yeah,
all of you were. All of you were absolutely great.
Yeah, I changed it up a little from the first night to the next. Just adding more little lines, reorganizing the order. And then I cut out one thing from the first night that I tried last night, and it was kind of a mess, but it has some potential.
Okay.
We'll see.
What was the app that you discussed?
Headspace is the app.
Yeah.
So I do a long joke about meditation and that I don't even do it. But I have this app, and it has one section that I focus on.
One killed so hard on Tuesday that I thought she was cheating.
I believe that. Now, what I want to ask you, Sarah, is...
That's an example of something I have been telling people.
But never on a stage.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now, I could tell, like I was here last night. I heard it. It was really good. Did you know how well that was going to go? Just based on telling your friends?
Yes, because I was laughing myself. When I can make myself laugh alone thinking about what I'm going to say or the topic, then I know it's usually... But I really didn't know it would be that funny. I really did not. I was like, wow, this is fire. And you know what? Everyone was like, well, you did it at the... we didn't... No one said this, but I kept thinking... so this for those listening, it's like a 10-minute bit about a meditation podcast thing. And it's really funny, and I'm excited about it, but I've been doing it first, and I'm like, oh, this is a closer. I should probably, for this experience. But I am someone who is so insecure and scared when I first come out of like, what kind of audience am I going to be dealing with? That first moment when I come out, I'm really nervous. And so my tendency is to
start with the closer.
Start with the closer so that they believe that I belong. I really have always been that way. I do my best joke first so that I feel in my head, they know I belong here. And I don't care if it goes downhill after that.
Wow.
I don't know why. I try to. When I headline, I'm like, I have a closer, you know. But it sucks when you have to get off stage and you on a low note. You want that like cheering and
Of course.
But I need my security blanket is that first, and that also is the test of the audience of like, if I come out there and I say this joke that I know is funny and they're not laughing, I already know I have an uphill battle and to just get used to it.
Sure.
An uphill battle with no ammunition.
Yeah. I already spent all my bullets in the first 5 minutes, and now I'm screwed. Yeah, it is a bad feeling when the closer, when your best joke doesn't work up top, and you're like, oh, I've got 45 more minutes.
I hope that someday that joke works into some sort of like they're paying you to talk about that app. That would be the goal, right?
That's hilarious. Or they let me do so. For those listening, the joke is focused mainly on this Sleepcast thing, and it's just like an hour-long audio, and I'm like, I don't want to give it away, but like it's just so ridiculous and so much to work with. I'm like, I have all these. I'm like, I could do an hour of material about this shit, but I should do my own Sleepcast where I like tell people to go to sleep. You shut your eyes, you little bitch.
They were good until she called me a bitch. Then they were great.
Yeah. Close your eyes, you stupid fuck.
So I said earlier that I was at the show with my wife last night, and when you brought up that being a highly sensitive person,
yeah.
Holy crap, did my wife light up?
Oh
She
yeah.
was like, I think. When she whispered to me, I think I am too, and I'm like,
yeah.
She took the quiz when we got home.
That's
yeah.
The highly. I need to work on that joke because it's uneven from the. That's an example of like where the first night it had potential, and then the second night I was like, let me tinker with it, and then it got worse. You know, and so it'll come out on the other end, hopefully by the end of the week. But I need to work on it. But yeah, I just took a quiz too. Which I think I need to add that into the joke that like, oh, a therapist didn't tell me this. I just took a quiz. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, highly sensitive person is like, from what I understand, and I only have like a surfacey understanding of it so far, is that about 15 to 20% of people classify as a highly sensitive person, and it's a genetic thing. It's not like a disorder or a disease or anything. It's kind of like some people, when they eat cilantro, they taste soap. That's a genetic thing. Apparently, this is what I read. I was reading about it yesterday, and I need to read more, but but that it's just some people are wired in a way where they're more sensitive to sound and light and taste. And they're just more truly in the real sense of the word. Your senses are heightened, but also on a emotional level too. Yeah, that you're heightened to other people's. So I guess there's a spectrum. Like, have you heard the term empath? Oh yeah. So empath is the extreme, and then highly sensitive person is sort of the more general, like I'm trying to it's hard for me to explain. Empath is like all the way over where you're just like I don't even understand what that term really is, but it's something really extreme where you're like, and I took a quiz on that one too, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm exactly that, but I'm definitely a highly sensitive person. But
and it's like one of the things you mentioned is gum, people chewing gum, right?
Oh yeah, and that's part of it. I think
sounds or light.
Yeah, like sounds.
Misophonia, is that
misophonia? I think falls into it because you're somebody who's very sensitive to. But misophonia is its own thing, and also there's another thing called acousis or something that's definitely I have that where like I can only handle a certain level of volume. Okay. But yeah, I don't like loud noises, and towards the end of the day, this is what I've noticed is that if I'm overstimulated, so if I've had a really big day and a lot of things have happened, as the night goes on and I'm getting tired, or I can't handle too many sensor like stimuli. Like my boyfriend knows now that I'm getting tired when I keep going, can you turn it down? Can you turn it down a little more? Can you turn it down a little more? Like the TV, because I can't take any more. Or if there's more than one sound. Okay. I'm like, fucking turn it off. Like I lose my shit.
Is there any connection between like if somebody's talking in the crowd?
Oh hell
like,
yeah! No, this is why one of the biggest challenges for me as a stand-up has been, and I'm pretty proud of how far I've come, of being able to keep performing when there's other noises or smells or anything that would distract me from the moment. I used to have to address every little thing, like if I heard a bang or a siren, and if someone was talking, I'd be like, "What'd you say?" You know, like now I.
So who didn't shower? What you didn't shower today in the room?
No, I will be like, "What the fuck?" Like,
who is that?
Fucking New York City, especially for some reason, New York City like microphones it shows stink so bad. There'll be times. Yeah,
sucks in all the smell.
Yeah,
there's nothing worse than a stinky mic.
Yeah, fuck.
There is nothing worse than a stinky mic.
Who fucking licked this with their,
I did radio.
rotten mouth. Like, yeah, so like things like that will throw me off. Or like if there's a creak in the stage, like it will be the main thing I can hear the whole time I'm performing.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll have to change my behavior to avoid the creak, But now I'm very good at I still notice it all, but I don't react to it visibly because I learned that it was just fucking up my performances so much. Because I'd have to stop and deal with it. And I was just like, I'm so unprofessional. Like, just do your jokes. It's fine.
I mean, as soon as you said that, reacting to every sound, you made me think of Andy Kindler when he's done the podcast here. It's like somebody opens the door and he's just like, what?
He's probably,
Light, sound. Hey, been paying attention to anything.
Yeah. So I think it's good. It's a good thing in that. And is like, you feel deeply. You're very, you take in a lot. And so that I think I think that helps me as an artist because, but sometimes I don't know, I feel like I get too deep into my own world, which is another part of it.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
So I think when I read that, I was like, it was a great way to explain some of my experience in the world and be like, oh, this isn't, and I started talking about this on the stage, is like, I used to think I was just a bitch. Like, honestly, that is what I thought. I was like, I'm just a fucking uptight bitch, because I don't like loud noises and people's chewing gum noises, that I'm just a fucking tight ass.
Yeah. I think we all probably have something like that where you're like, I don't like that I'm like this, but I'm like this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I think, I'm okay if that behavior makes me seem bitchy. Like my boyfriend does get very irritated with me sometimes. I'm just like, turn it down even more.
You know that the Roku remotes have a headphone jack.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. The most recent models, yeah.
Well, I have another joke that I've already done a million times, so I can't. But I've never done it on an album or anything. So I'm like, oh, this might go with the HSP stuff, because I have a whole joke about my boyfriend playing video games. And the machine gun fire, how it would like make me fucking insane. Like in the house, I'd be like, turn it the fuck off. Like even if I just heard one bullet, I'd be like, fuck, and it would stress me out so much. So we came up with, I have a whole joke about it. So I'm like, ooh, this could go with that, and I can start working on that. So this is such a good experience to like. It's drawing on all these things. We've got
a dog, and there's TV shows that he can't, that he freaks out during if there's like a lot of
really.
Yeah.
Aww.
So we got him mutt muffs, which are little ear muffs.
Oh my God.
it's funny. Yeah. You put him on, and he looks like a little Russian space dog.
That is so cute. Oh my God! I need to see a picture of that.
What was the name of the dog that actually wanted to?
That they sent in? Oh yeah, it wasn't Spot. It was something like that.
Yeah. So that's what we do is we put on the mutt muffs, and he actually enjoys. It's like the gunfire starts, and then he'll get up, and then he'll wait for you to put him on. And then you put him on, and he goes back.
Comes over. Oh my God!
Sarah's
I've never related to a dog so much.
You put his heavy blanket around him, put his muffs on.
Oh my God! I do. Well, that's another thing is like when I get overstimulated, I get where I just want to be like in a cocoon, with no noise or slights or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I also get less verbal. Where towards the end of the night, I'll just be like, like I just make noises, and my boyfriend like knows. I'm like, I'm just, God, I have a nightmare.
What's his thing? What's his equivalent?
Oh, he collects.
He's
a collector.
Yeah.
Okay. He collects all kinds of things, and I find it very adorable and endearing because he does it in a way that he's self-aware about it. And insecure about it. He doesn't want to be made fun of. So he has like, our very first meeting or time, when we like hooked up for the first time, I was hanging out with people at his house, and it was one of those, everybody's gone. It's just me and you. What's going to happen? Like we both clearly liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone had already been like, Sarah, go look at Scott's bedroom. And I was like, okay, and I go and look, and I see a loft bed. It's like New York, Lower East Side. It's a tiny apartment that he shares with 3 other people. So I was like, oh, he has a loft bed. I don't care. But it was his friend making fun of him. Like, Scott has a bunk bed, and was trying to prank his friend by showing it to me, knowing, the situation. So when everyone was gone and it was time for us to go into his room, he stands in front of the door and he goes, before we go in there, I have something to tell you. And I was like, okay, what?
Could be so
you
many
got
things.
herpes?
Yeah.
What is it? Or, I'm thinking, is he embarrassed by the bunk bed? Because I don't give a shit about the bunk bed. And he goes, I collect action figures. And I was like, okay.
I'm not going to laugh. I can relate.
And I was like, okay, all right, are they in the packages? And he was like, no, because they're not in the packages. And I was
You can't play with them when they're in the packages.
he had a stand-up joke about that when he was still doing stand-up. It was really funny. He goes, I'm a man. I take them out so I can play with them. So anyway, I go in, and his room is like, he's like visually, he's really good at art and design and stuff, and like his room was cool. It was decorated like in a way that was very aesthetically pleasing. I only saw 3 action figures, like very like tastefully arranged on a little shelf. So
so they're hiding. So they're like
so I was like
snipers. So they're all over the room.
I think he just thought I was going to see one of them and go, "Oh my God, you're a nerd," and run away. And I was like, "This is cool. Like I like your room. It's fine. I get New York." And so, but now, it's not just 2 or 3.
Yeah, and when did he show you the storage locker that he keeps the other
that
ones
took
in?
years for him to fully reveal. I mean, like, it really didn't come to full fruition until we moved from New York to LA, and we had this storage unit in New York, and he kept being really weird about me going to it.
I love it.
And I was like, why? He goes, and finally he goes, there's something in there, and you're going to see it. And I was like, what? I was like,
body?
Ex-boyfriend?
So I go in there, and I look at it, and it's like a fucking 3 feet high Castle Grayskull. I mean, it's just obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's like, I didn't want you to know I bought it, and it's a lot. And I was like, yeah, it's a lot. We can't have it on display in LA. No way. But we have 2 bedrooms in LA, and his, the guest bedroom is like his domain, and he has a custom shelf built that he did LED lighting that he can fade. I mean, it looks cool, but he has so much shit on display. And then I know now he has tubs and tubs of other
plastic bins, yes.
organized by weapon. He has like weapon tubs.
Does he have Stinkor?
Oh.
Yes, he has Stinkor. He has them all.
How do we all know who that is? That's amazing.
It's the only one I ever got.
I barely know, I know.
I had to get Stinkor. It cracked me up. And somebody gave it to me. I just kept talking about somebody gave it to me for Christmas. And I really regret I had to take it out of the package so I could smell it.
Yeah.
I really regret that because a Stinkor still in the package
is really valuable now. Yeah.
$300-$400 or something probably.
He knows, like, he's just very in tune with what's valuable, what's not. And so he'll go, whenever we travel, he'll go to Dollar General or Walmart and look for those figures that he knows are valuable. And he'll make money. It's a hobby that supports itself, because when he wants something, he'll sell a few other things.
Nice.
That's what every gambler says too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I always threaten him, like when we're in a fight, and I mean when we're teasing each other, where I'm like, if you don't fucking do those dishes right now, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna clear off those shelves and burn them. Like we laugh about it. Yeah. But and then I'm like,
you don't get to play with your toys until you finish.
I'm gonna open Stinkor.
Yeah. So yeah, he's he does He-Man, G.I. Joe, Star, but it gets even. He's just someone who is collector, and he does it in a tasteful way doesn't dominate his life, but sometimes I am like, dude,
sure,
just tone it down a little. What did you just get? Like 8 boxes will show up, and like, what is all this?
When the eBay package shows up, you're like, what is it now?
I know.
Yeah. We should talk about just some other things like that you guys have going on besides this week. Tim, podcast is still going strong.
Yeah, I've got actually had a fan show up. Last night.
Besides me, I listen.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's.
I thought you meant like a fan showed up at your door, like in a creepy way. I was like, oh,
no,
wow.
He came up for the show and told me that he loves the podcast, and it was I wasn't related to him, so it was like. I wasn't related to him. wasn't an associate. It was just someone that had stumbled across it. I guess it's
awesome.
The podcast is a Rule of 3 with Tim Slagle and Bent Washburn. We do it. We do it every week, or try to, and it's we do 3 topics and 10 minutes each. No politics. So
Which is a new change with the politics.
Yeah.
I noticed. Yeah.
Wait, you used to do politics?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also...
and then you decided not to anymore?
We decided that everyone's doing politics, so that we could
I thought
actually.
something had happened where there was like we got
No.
into a really bad fight. And
No, some people
Not those two.
No, some people have said that that's when they liked it best was when we both came to terms, because we're good friends and we kind of see eye to eye on a lot of issues, but there's certain things that we're just diametrically opposed, and people like that the best.
Sure.
Yeah.
And,
well, because there's not much of that right now in terms of there's a lot of politics, but there's not much coming to agreement or having a real conversation with someone that might disagree with you. That's actually hard to find.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why people are drawn to it.
So we decided we would try no politics for a while and see how it goes. And
I liked when you cut Bent off one of them I was listening to in the last couple of weeks. You're like, this is that, no. You're going towards politics. We have a rule.
It's political.
we just brought on a fact checker, Jeff Jenna, is an old friend of both of ours.
Oh, okay.
And he's been listening to the podcast, and he's been emailing me saying, you're wrong. This is wrong. And just come on the show. And just he actually said that he's already got a long list from the past couple episodides. So 30-minute podcast.
You should do a whole
and yet
episode
he's
of
got
just fact corrections.
Oh no, we
from
do.
that.
We bring him on. We do 3 segments each, 10-minute segments each show. So he's one of the segments. So we're going to bring him on every month to kind of go over the past.
Was that on the most recent one? I haven't heard the most recent one.
With Jeff on it?
Yeah.
It was. I think it was 2 ago.
Oh, okay.
It was, maybe I haven't put the most recent one up.
Okay.
So it
Yeah,
might
I
have
don't
been
think I'm
one
very
of the
far
last
behind.
ones. Yeah, but that's he'll be coming on and correcting us because we've made some huge mistakes about Woodstock. He's a little bit older than me.
I heard the Woodstock when you guys talked about. I heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
okay.
we made some mistakes.
Okay.
Is that apparently there were porta potties at Woodstock.
Oh, all right.
I thought Woodstock predated the invention of the porta potty.
wow. I probably would have thought that too.
Yeah. Yep.
It just seems like a more modern.
Yep. More modern convenience, but nope. He said there were. So
Fact check. How did
he
he fact check that? You find in the background of a picture or something?
no, he watched the Woodstock movie, which is something I never.
Oh, okay.
That's something I never did. He watched the Woodstock movie because he had tickets for Woodstock, and then at the last minute decided not to go. He felt kind of sick, and he said, "I've already seen the Who, I've already seen Hendrix, so why bother?" So he still has unused Woodstock tickets.
Wow. That's probably worth something. Wow.
About $1,000. He's looked at. You have something like that, you look at.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's why I know how much Stinkor is worth still in
Fair
the
enough.
package with the aroma intact.
Sarah, how about you? What other stuff do you have going on outside of this week of Crash and Burn?
Well, what do I have going on? It's a lot of stuff that it's like not nothing tangible that anyone can have yet.
Okay.
So like I have a book I've been working on for like a year and a half, and it'll be coming out next year probably.
This is a memoir? Did I read somewhere?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a memoir, and it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. Truly, like, I don't recommend writing a memoir. It is so fucking hard.
And you have not finished? Or are you done?
Well, no, I'm not done. I finished a second draft, which was the hardest draft. The first draft I thought was hard. I had no idea. And I'm waiting for feedback on that.
Okay.
And, I'm very nervous because the first round of notes was very brutal. And the second, I'm now scared that's going to happen again, where it's like, you need to rewrite this whole fucking book.
You need to redo your life. Sorry.
Yeah. It's really hard when someone's like, no, like 5 years of your life. They're just like, no, there's nothing interesting there. And you're like, so I'm very excited about it. It's a dream come true to write a book. It's the first thing I ever dreamed of doing as a child was to write a book.
Wow.
So, and I have diary entries of like, I'm going to write a book one day. And, it's just been a thing. So I'm excited to do it and then maybe never do it again. I don't know. We'll
Sure.
see.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Well, you only have one set of memories, so you can really only do one memoir.
Well,
Part
actually,
2.
you can do, because what I've realized is it's very difficult to fit everything into one book. So you have to pick a theme, and you kind of have to cut all the rest out, and it's it's been interesting. But I also just had an album come out
Yeah.
a few months ago.
Yep,
Live,
I
Laugh,
listened to it.
Love.
It's great.
Which we discussed, and I'm proud of that. And have a half hour on Comedy Central coming out later this year.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I filmed it in January, and so once that, I don't even know when it'll be coming out. So when that is announced, I'll be, promoting it and stuff. But yeah, so now I'm just been kind of taking a moment to pause creatively, and like, this is a great kickstart week to get my brain, because I really had just said to my sister before I came here, I was like, I feel completely depleted. I didn't realize, like, the book, when I turned it in late April, and I knew that for 2 weeks I would just be brain dead, because it was just so hard. I mean, my apartment looked like a divorced man had lived there. It was like covered in takeout, containers and beer bottles.
Another thing I can relate to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a divorced woman, but I would never, But and it was, I was like so depleted. So I thought, 2 weeks and then I'll be right back to business. And it's been 2 months and or about a month and a half. And right before I came here, I was like, I don't have any motivation. I feel depressed a little, and completely just all of it took it out of me. And
thanks to Tim Slagle.
I'm serious. I got here and I was like, okay, it's back. I feel it. I feel my spark.
Isn't that perfect,
again.
Tim?
Yeah.
You gotta love hearing that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So, and to come up here and do material that's very lighthearted, and not the depths of my soul.
Sure. Oh, that's
It's been
fantastic. We should put a bow on this one and cut you guys loose. Thank you very much. Everybody
Thank
should come
you.
if they haven't already to see a show. Get your tickets and come see this stuff. I'm hoping to come back on Saturday to see
the finished product.
Yeah, to see a finished product. So, congrats, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boom.